Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Glory Pensra Akpan, and how are you doing? If you're new to this channel, please kindly hit the subscription button. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and guys, it's always nice if you leave a comment in the comment section so I'll get to know your thoughts, get to answer some of your questions, and of course I'd like to hear what your experiences are if you've tried out 1 or 2 or 3 of these tutorials. Today I'm going to be teaching you how you can turn your bodice block into a blouse pattern. A bodice is from the shoulder down to the waistline, but a blouse is as long as you'd want it to be. So here I'm going to turn my bodice block into a full length blouse, 25 inches, from my shoulder coming all the way down to my hip line. So I made my bodice block using old newspapers. I hope you don't find this strange because it works, you know. The papers are still useful even though the news has expired, you know. So yeah, I used old newspaper here to make my bodice block. Why not, you know, reuse, reduce, recycle. It works. So I transferred my bodice block here onto the newspaper, which I'm going to be using to make my pattern. Now the aim of this class really is to explain to you how you can alter your bodice block, which is from your shoulder down to your waistline, to a full length blouse. How you can also alter the darts, you know, to accommodate your bust for this blouse, right? Now if you also notice here, this is my back block. I have no darts. That's because I shared my dart excess into contouring center back. As you can see, center back is not a straight line, it's a curve. I've contoured center back and also slanting the sides, right? The sides are also not straight. And please make reference to my video on how to draft the basics bodice block. I'm going to leave the link down in the description box. Watch that video first. Watch that tutorial first before you continue with this tutorial, so you have a proper understanding of what I'm doing and where I'm coming from and why, what is what and what not. Okay, so I'm going to be needing 2 additional measurements to my bodice block to make this a full blouse. The first measurement we're going to be needing is the full blouse length. What that means is how long do I want my blouse to be, right? So my full blouse length is 25 inches, very close to my hip depth, right? Very close to my hip line. That's where I want my blouse length to be. And also I will need my hip circumference because the hem of the blouse needs to be free, you know, it mustn't be too tight, it should be free around there. So I'll use my hip circumference also. So those 2 measurements, the full length of the blouse and the hip circumference. Now looking at this pattern of bodice, you can tell that this is not 25 inches long. This is just my bodice length, which is the distance from the highest point of my shoulder down to my waistline. So in that case, I would need to join pattern paper or newspaper. To increase the length of the blouse. So I'm just going to prepare my newspaper, as you can see. Okay, and this is my center front, and center front is a straight line, and as you can see, the placed on full sign to indicate that my fabric will be placed on full, the center front. I will bring this, which is also a straight line, to align with my center front straight line. Then using a paper tape, as you can see, I'm going to stick the additional paper to Okay, so I have extended my paper, right? But I have to be sure that the width of this paper is also going to meet up with the width of my hip circumference. My hip circumference is 45 inches. I'm going to divide 45 inches into 4. And that's about 11.25. All right, so we can see that my paper is a little less than 11.25. So I'm going to be joining a little more paper at the side. Now this is because I'm using newspaper, right? There are some sacrifices you have to make when you are recycling or reusing, and this is one of them. Reduce, recycle. Reduce. Okay. All right. So now we're done joining our paper. I'm going to be inputting my full length of blouse, placing my tape from the shoulder line down. I'm going to mark 25 inches. And I'm going to roll a straight line at 25 inches. All right. So that line there is the hem of my blouse or my hip line, right? I'm going to be dividing my hip circumference, which is 45 inches, into 4, and that gave me 11.25, and I'm going to mark that on the hemline. Sorry, I don't know if you can see, but the paper tape has hidden the waistline, so I'll just redo. All right, so this is our waistline. I'm going to be connecting from the side seam at the waist to the markings there, and then using my scissors, I'm going to cut off the excess paper that is now useless to us. Okay. So there you go. This is my blouse with the full length. Now, next thing we're going to do is I'm going to come and alter the darts, right? I have a basic, I have the darts, the waist, the side darts and the waist darts as I taught in, when I taught you bodice block. So there's some little alterations we are going to do to these darts. Now, to make room for the bust, we're going to move the darts away from the nipple. This is the nipple point. We are going to move the side darts away from the nipple by 2 inches. That's the 2 inches mark there, as you can see. And then I'm going to connect from this point up to the 2 inches mark. So I have shifted the dart away from the nipple by 2 inches, the side dart. Now we'll come to the waist dart, and we'll shift the waist dart away from the nipple as well by 2 inches. So I'm going to mark 2 inches away from the nipple down there, and then these are my dart legs. I'm going to connect from the 2 inches marking to my dart leg at the waistline. All right. So I have shifted away from the nipple by 2 inches on the side dart and 2 inches on the waist dart. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to extend our darts to come down. So to do that, I'm going to mark my bust distance one more time. My bust distance is 7 inches. Half of 7 inches is 3.5, right? Please watch my video, very important, on how to draft the bodice block so you have a proper understanding of what is going on here. I'm going to leave the link down in the description box. So, as you can see, I have connected my bust distance, which is a straight line coming up from the nipple down here to the hem. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mark 2 inches away from my hem. So that's 2 inches away from the hem, and then I'm going to connect my dart legs here to that 2 inches marking. And there you go. Our top is ready, right? So we're not going to be working with this anymore. That has been crossed out. This is now the new dart position, and we're not going to be working with this anymore. So this is our new waist dart, as you can see, with the dart excess taken off from the waistline, right? So this is my front pattern for a basic blouse or a simple blouse with darts. So we're going to alter the back. This is my back pattern, my back block, right? So I'm going to be attaching paper also, ensuring that my center back aligns with the straight line here on the paper, edge of the paper. So using paper tape, I'll just stick this together. Okay, so now that this has been done, we are going to mark the full length of the blouse. I'm going to bring the front back, right? Now, this is the front pattern. I'm going to be measuring the distance from my waistline down to the hem. So from my waistline down to the hem on my front pattern is 7.2 inches. And I'm going to impute exactly the same thing on the front pattern, on the back pattern. This is my back pattern and this is the waistline. Okay, so from there, I'm going to be marking 7.2 inches downwards. So this is 7.2. And this is 7.2. I'll roll a straight line to connect the points. Okay, and that is the hem of my blouse. Now, once again, don't forget I said that I do not have a dart on my back block. Why? Please make reference to my video once again on how to draft the basics bodice block. There I taught you how to calculate the dart excess to take out. Now, in that video I explained to you that you can take out a dart excess in 3 ways: by contouring center back, by slanting the side, and by having a waist dart on the waistline, right, in the center of your bodice. Okay, but I am not doing that here because I used my dart excess in 2 ways. I used it to contour center back and to slant the side. Hope there's no confusion here. All right, so coming back to the hem of my blouse, my hip circumference is 11.2 inches. So I'm going to mark 11.2. And I'm going to be connecting from there to there, and from here there's lights slanting going on here as well, from there to there. So I'm going to be cutting. And there is my back pattern for this blouse. So this is the back, and this is the front. So at this point, our blouse pattern is ready for cutting. So please stay posted as I'll share a tutorial on how I make my blouse.